I noticed that there was this glaringly obvious issue with the way people were sitting at their desks. And it didn't matter if I was at a company that spent 30,000 Rand on a chair, or if someone went to Macro and bought a chair, nobody was using the equipment properly. And we do a lot of corporate work with companies like Vodacom, Dimension Data. They would often ask, we have this team of people, they're complaining about back pain. We've just bought them all new chairs, and they're coming and they're saying, these chairs are worse. We've got more back pain. So in the back of my mind, I was thinking, okay, we've got to figure out a solution to this. And then one day a company phoned me and they said, we've just spent a huge amount of money on office equipment. Nobody are using the features. You need to come in and convince them to use it. And that was the beginning of what we're going to discuss today. And hopefully, by the end of today, I would have convinced you that how you sit, especially if you're in a desk-bound job, affects your quality and quantity of life more than you possibly realize. And I'll start with an analogy of dental hygiene. I'm going to ask, from a CEO to a child, how often should you brush your teeth per day? Twice a day. How often should you see your dentist? Twice a year. So it's been in our culture, because of 50 years of education, now all of a sudden we look after our teeth. And for most of us, our teeth last our entire lives. Okay, so I'm going to use that same analogy, but we're going to talk about the spine and hopefully convince you that it's even more important than your teeth. Now, your spine's got two major functions. The first one is it holds us upright. Yes, and it allows us to move. But the second one is the most important. It protects something. Does anyone have an idea? What does it protect? It protects your nervous system. So you've got the brain in your skull. You've got the spinal cord running down the middle and all these branches of nerves that go off that. Now, is the nervous system important? What does it control? Everything. You live your life through your nervous system. Every organ is controlled by it, every cell, every hormone you produce, every thought you have, every emotion that you have, your resilience to stress, your physical performance, your mental performance is all an expression of how healthy your nervous system is. Does it sound important? But the spine and those little receptors that fire when you move charges the brain like a battery. You know a kinetic watch? You move the watch around and the watch charges. The body works the same way. When you move, especially movement of the spine, the brain gets charged. In fact, I think I've got a slide for this, yeah. 80% of the activity in your brain and spinal cord are due to these receptors. If I had to stop those receptors from talking to your brain right now, you would drop into a coma. Important? Okay, so those receptors are in your joints. Now we've got other receptors, and they're there to tell your brain when something's wrong. So if there's stress, if there's damage, they're called nociceptors. So when there's damage in the spine, they also go up to the brain, but they go to different areas. And when you do feel pain, these are those receptors. But they go to different areas of the brain, and you often don't feel pain. The one I want to talk about today is an area of the brain it goes to called the hypothalamus, which releases stress hormone. Who's heard of cortisol? It's now been linked to basically every chronic disease we have. What are the big three killers in the Western world? There's always one. Hypertension, heart disease, cancer, diabetes. What's the common denominator in all of those? Cortisol, stress hormone. Okay, so why is this important? When those signals go from the brain, they release stress hormone, and they don't always present with pain. This is the biggest thing. Who's gone to a massage and you said, oh, I'm fine, but give me a massage, and the person finds something and you go through the roof and you go, wow, I didn't know that was there. That's because we have the stress going on in the body, but we don't consciously perceive it. Everybody's talking about pain, and back pain is the second biggest cause of absenteeism after flu. Okay, so let's just talk about, can this affect me? If it does cause pain, you can get neck pain, you can get shoulder tension, you can get low back pain, you can get headaches. And those are the common ones that people will connect with how they sit at a desk. Okay, so let's talk solutions. But what the adjustments do is they restore the joint mechanics. So remember I said that your joints get locked up chronically? They're stiff and stuck. We use a technique to get that movement back. And then a spinal hygiene routine. Just like your dental hygiene, you do certain movements and exercise on a daily basis to feed your brain with that movement stimulation. And we'll discuss a little bit of that in a bit. Needed in this, but this is huge. Finally, we're starting to be able to measure that the brain works better once the spine moves better. It will change your life over a period of time.